What's going on, everybody? Jay Howe here from Broadcast Heroes, bringing you the first edition of what will hopefully be many to come of our opportunities to cast tournaments in Heroes of the Storm. Now, recently we had the opportunity to cast the Pandorum Gaming Open number 2, and in that tournament was Lazaruha White. We never quite got that one down. 2 Art Gaming, Ben's awesome friends, Pandorum Esports themselves, Symphony of Death, and Your Mother Was a Murloc. They were scheduled to be there, but due to other tournaments they were involved in, were not able to compete. So we had 3 rounds, 1 person got a bye, and we were able to fill out the bracket and have a pretty good tournament going on. Now, taking a look at some of the highlights in round 1, we had 2 Arc versus Ben's awesome friends. So let's take a look and see what exactly happened there in round 1. In round 1, we had 2 Arc Gaming that had great group composition and great teamwork, which comes from experience from those players. Ben's awesome friends were a little bit outmatched. One of the things that you saw was a repeated combo of those entangling roots from Malfurion, the Blizzard coming down from Jaina, and then at level 10, getting that Void Prison to start the whole thing was just too much to overcome for Ben's awesome friends. That there from 2 Art Gaming shows the experience and just how important it is during the draft. So unfortunately for Ben's awesome friends, and fortunately for 2 Art Gaming, they got out of there unscathed and won that best of 3, 2-0. And in the other part of round 1, Symphony of Death faced off against L White, and L White also won that round 2-0. And so when we moved into round 2, Your Mother Was a Murloc was not able to face off, which gave 2 Art Gaming a bye in round 2 and an automatic trip to the finals, which means that they were guaranteed either the first or second place prize, which left Pandorum Esports to face off against L White, which was one of the most competitive series that we had of the 3 rounds. Now, looking at some of the highlights for that round, we had Pandorum Esports facing off against L White on the Battlefield of Eternity. And here, L White was able to take an advantage of getting to level 10 first. They were able to force some of the fights, take over some of the camps, and then eventually grab an Immortal and be able to use that level advantage to their advantage to just extend the lead. Once they were able to take that, they were able to push and won the first game decisively. That was a tough game, which gave Pandorum Esports the opportunity to pick first in the next round, as well as pick the map. Now, this is one that was absolutely incredible. This was on Sky Temple, and this was by far the most competitive match, which left me with this example of what was just the most exciting play of the day. So I'm going to let that play and let you guys listen in to what was just an astonishing play between L White and Pandorum Esports. From Kael'thas, they all retreated. Unfortunately, that thing is so strong right now, but they said, hey, you're going to mess with us, we're going to mess with you. Kael'thas gets targeted, gets grabbed by Sonya, and goes down. And you can see Red Team now making a huge push here. Huge timers left on the rest of the enemy team on the blue side. Will they make the push for the core? This could be a deciding factor, or this could be a way to soften it up. They could make a choice here to go after something like another fort, but since there are 2 forts up, they're saying, hey, let's make a push for the core. Taking huge damage, but getting in here, getting down to 70%, 7-sided strike, going in. Not the most effective when there's that many heroes, but Sonya goes down 36%. Can they finish it off? Muradin goes down. Leoric beating on Jaina goes down 17, 15, 13. Oh my goodness! They didn't get it! All 5 members go down from the red team. Huge push there. They went for the goal and they didn't get it. So close. Will this be their doom? Are they going to make the push? That was a huge push and unfortunately did not work out. Fortunately for them, the red team has not, or the blue team has not made that much of a push. The blue team now making their own push on the core. Still 20 seconds left on the closest one. The minions are on there. A huge turn of events. This is over. Such a close game. They had the ability to finish it off, but could not make it. And there it goes. GG. The game is over. What an ending. So as you can see, that game was ultra competitive. It took it to the brink of death for L White. L White was able to finish that best of 3 off in 2 games. Pandorum Esports put up one heck of a fight, and they have great potential going forward. They went for the gold, and they were not able to capture it by just a few percentage points, which made for a very exciting play. I would have loved to have seen a Game 3 there to see just how that would have turned out. Instead, we turn our attention to the finals, where L White was able to take on 2Art Gaming, which had that $100 first place prize and the $50 second place prize. So here is where I'm going to go over some of what we saw before the game in terms of the draft, and then going in, you'll be able to see the full game of the finals, the full games, the best of 3 of the finals between 2Art Gaming and Lazaruha White, L White. Those are the guys. Looking at the draft in Game 1 on those finals, for 2Art Gaming, we had Sunshine on Johanna, Crone on Zagara, LZ Gamer on Zeratul, who he had been dominating with all day, Trader on Mirrodin, and Insomnia on Malfurion. And for L White, we had OMG Colin on Leoric, Justin on Rhaegar, Spare Change on Abathur, Spurbeck on Sonya, and Belarius on Sylvanas. One of the things I like to do is take a look at some of the heroes. And in the finals, we had Zeratul. And looking at Zeratul, he had been dominant all day, especially in the hands of LZ Gamer, just tearing people apart. And it had been a completely dominant performance. You had seen him banned, but at other times, he was always there and always dominant, which makes him such a great hero to choose, to be able to get in, use that Void Prison, get in and do damage and get out, and just take down those squishy characters as needed. And looking on the other side for L White, we're going to take a look at Sylvanas, because in this map on Cursed Hollow, which was where Game 1 of the best of 3 took place, Sylvanas can be an incredible hero to be able to fight off those waves and waves of minions, as well as push some of those lanes early and late in the game, even when you have the disadvantage when the other team has collected all the tributes. Sylvanas is a great hero for certain map types, and this one had the potential. The other thing I like to take a look at is the combos, and in this one I want to take a look at Mirrodin and Zeratul, who were around in Game 1 of this best of 3. Having Mirrodin in there to slow those basic attacks depending on how they spec, and then also being able to get those stuns in, if they can get those range stuns in, if a hero is out of position, and then having Zeratul coming in and pounce on them, that makes for a deadly combination. So that's one to look out for on this map. And lastly, I want to take a look at LZ Gamer, who for 2Art Gaming is the team captain and was completely dominant throughout the day on that Zeratul pick, who was rarely banned, if ever. And he's taken that into Game 1 of this best of 3. So look out for him, and look out for 2Art to take advantage of some of those combos with the crowd control. Now, without further ado, let's take a look and hop right into the finals between L White and 2Art Gaming, and check out this best of 3 of the Pandorum Gaming Open number 2. But beyond the casual nature of that, we do have a prize on the line. So that raises the stakes and puts a little bit more pressure on these teams. And we have Sunshine on Johanna, Crone on Zagara, LZ Gamer again on Zeratul, Trader on Mirrodin, and Insomnia on Malfurion. On the red team, on the right side, we have Leoric with, oh my god, Colin, Justin on Rhaegar, Spare Change on Abathur, Spurbeck on Sonya, and Belarius on Sylvanas. And we've got good sportsmanship on both sides as we have a good luck, have fun. And we're going to see an early push here in the middle lane by those 3 enemy, or we're going to see the Abathur come up here. Pajamathur coming up. It looks like we're going to go ahead and break away with Sonya, and then Sylvanas, of course, will soak a lane at the bottom. And we're going to see, will Sylvanas contest against somebody like Zagara? And are they going to have to compete against somebody with Johanna? And you see Zeratul creeping in here. Abathur releasing his wave down the line here, will come through and grab a minion there, and you can see, do a little bit of damage. But Sylvanas, again, has to watch out for that Zeratul pick. Zeratul coming back there and says, hey, I'm going to take the site. I want to know what's going on. So Zeratul making that choice there. And you're going to see in the middle, we have Leoric, who will do some great laning. We've got Sonya versus Mirrodin. So Sonya has nice sustain. So Sonya should be okay. Down here, we have Sylvanas, who is going to try to contest. Between Zagara and Malfurion, that's going to be plenty of splash damage that's going to go around and try and keep everybody back, which is going to allow, again, for this early minion push. So having that minion up here, which we've covered throughout the day, is going to bring some of the ammo down. And so having that ammo down will make for some really early pushes. And we're going to see Abathur pushing here, and we're going to see Abathur says, hey, you know what, I need to get my locust out here, or my swarm out, and get going. Sonya down, or up top, making the push, and so Sonya wears that hat just briefly, and is making the push, and is trying to get her minions up to the front line, and be able to eat some of that ammo. So Muradin, not a whole lot he can do there, other than just that splash damage there. And in the middle, we have Johanna and Zeratul defending against this wave of minions. And again, Sonya and Rhaegar. Rhaegar's not a lot that he can do here because Malfurion and Zeratul can just kind of do what they want. Having that hunter come through here from Zagara will help poke away and keep them on their heels as Sonya, or excuse me, as Sylvanas is trying to get in here and spread that to be able, if Sylvanas can get in there and get that Shadow Dagger on there, will spread them before they get to the cannons. But, unfortunately, those cannons are already completely depleted of ammo, which means that between Zeratul, Zagara, and Malfurion, they can push up all they want. A trap there from Malfurion as Rhaegar has to throw up that chain heal. So, all of that work that we just saw there allows for a very early push, and you might see them stay here for a moment longer because the tributes spawned here at the bottom, working out in the favor of the blue team. So very early on, good strategy and a bit of luck right now for the blue team as we look at that, which is 2Art Gaming, and they are going to grab here, trying to defend. We have Leoric coming in and said, hey, Zeratul, I see you. And Rhaegar coming in with the heal, and now we have the full engage. Muradin coming in from the top, coming in on the back end, and we see Leoric grab there, and then rooted by Malfurion, and now being targeted there. But we see Sonya go down, not able to get enough heals out, and Leoric goes down. Boom! And we have a nice attack there, and now we have Rhaegar being targeted. Sylvanas went down in the meantime. All 4 members outside of Abathur went down, and Abathur going up and trying to soak in that top lane in the meantime, doing all he can do right now, because that's really all Abathur can do when the rest of your team goes down. Having that soak there in the other lane, while the rest of your team is busy at work, is what Abathur does best. And we'll see Abathur drop out of here in just a second because Muradin's coming up. Abathur better get out of there. Abathur might get stunned there. Manages to get out of there. Sonya comes to the defense. And again, we're still having the push here. Zagara has her creep down in this entire lane and can manage to get in and out of danger. We're going to see who goes and grabs for the camp. Where we see Zeratul grab one of the siege minions, but taking a bit of damage there, having to go back. So he'll only have to come back and finish off one of those siege minions. And now we have Sonya trying to make the push, and again, those minions trying to eat up some of that ammo. But now we have Zagara moving and rotating up to the top lane, which opens up the door for Sylvanas and Leoric to try and push back in this bottom lane. They've already lost that front cannon and the front gate, and now they're trying to make a push back, but that also allows Zagara to try and say, hey, I'm going to try and do what I did in the bottom lane, now in the middle lane. And you can see that the blue team is now 1 level ahead at level 8. Both teams at level 7. You can see Leoric says, hey, I'm going to drain some life there. And now you're going to see a contest here again. Abathur will stay in this top lane, soak some XP. Muradin will probably work his way down if things get a little hairy. But he's trying to clear out those lanes. That will allow the siege minions to move their way up while the rest of the team engages below. It looks like the red team is conceding. L. White says, hey, you know what? We're a little bit behind. We're going to catch up. We're going to grab some camps, and we're going to let you grab that. You're still only at 2, so we're going to contest the future ones. What we're going to do at level 7 is try and grab these camps, have them do some work, and hopefully catch us up in experience so that you're not at level 10 too far before us once that next tribute comes up, or at least close to it. So you can see a nice contest there on those camps. So Sonya up here grabbing this bruiser camp. They grab the bottom siege camp, and you can see that both teams are pushing with their camps right now. This siege camp on the blue side for 2Art Gaming making the push, and Muradin helped clearing the way. Nothing there but Abathur to help defend. And here comes that next tribute, which will be contested up top. And Leoric having to get out of there. You can see that siege camp. Will Johanna stay down here and try and clear those to defend? This bruiser camp down here, trying to get out of here. And you can see both bruiser camps now, but there's not any ammo in that cannon to help clear that wave. And you can see Rhaegar coming in here and says, hey, there is Zagara. Can we get this? Nice jump in there by Zeratul on Sylvanas. One of the things we targeted earlier. Oh, amazing ability from that haunting wave from Sylvanas to get just on the other side. Time that about as perfectly as you possibly could was Belarius, and just manages to stay alive and avoid that Zeratul gank. Unfortunately, the red team did not get enough backup in time. Rhaegar went down in the meantime, and you can see that 2-Arc is now up 11-8. They have their heroics, they have the curse, and this is going to be a huge push. And you can see Sonya trying to get out of there. Sonya now being stunned, not able to sustain. Tranquility coming up from Malfurion, and you can see Leoric getting targeted there. Leoric goes down, boom! And you can see huge push there with the curse up, with their heroics up. You can see Avatar was used, Tranquility was used, and we still have the Void Prison and Devouring Maul, which is going to be huge if the red team tries to re-engage. So the red team has to try and clear some minions here. Does L White, because right now they really need to hit level 10. If they can help clear some of these minions, the only way they'll be able to compete is to get that. And it looks like Abathur got ganked in the meantime, and Abathur went down. The bug goes down, and now the red team rotating to the top to try and clear out this minion wave and to get these siege minions down, because they cannot afford to lose yet another frontline defense. You can see all 6 forts are still up for the blue team, which is 2-Arc Gaming. And now you can see level 10 locked in for L White. And we have March of the Black King, Ancestral Healing, Ultimate Evolution, Wrath of the Berserker, and a Wailing Arrow. And the red team says, hey, we've got to try and make some type of defense here. So they grab the boss. But in the meantime, you also have the blue team grabbing their own boss. And it looks like we're about to see a Void Prison come in, I bet, right here from Zeratul. And Zeratul says, can we steal this? Let's take a look, because this could get real interesting. There's the Void Prison right as the boss dies. The blue team, 2-Arc Gaming, trying to make a defense here. It's already there. Will they defend? Hopping in is Mirrodin. Huge heal there from Rhaegar. Zeratul staying alive, having to blink out of there. Who's going to win this? Contested heavily. Mirrodin goes down on the blue team. 2-Arc Gaming loses one hero, having to retreat. Huge contest there. Wonderful Void Prison made for a very interesting game, or contest there from 2-Arc. But managing to hold on was L White. That boss hold was in enormous potential. But we now have in the bottom lane, we have the hat on the cannon, but the enemy, the blue team 2-Arc boss, is pushing the bottom lane. So are they going to try and defend? Are they going to try and clear? In the middle here, we do have a little bit of a contest. Johanna and Zeratul are sitting there poking away, but the rest of the team is going to have to drop back. They are about to clear this boss, but that damage was far more significant than what we saw in the top lane, as 2-Arc managed to clear that boss very quickly. So now we're going to see Sonya back down here trying to grab another siege camp. That was a huge contest. Unfortunately, they did not get much out of it. They did manage to make up a little bit of experience. We're now at about 14-12. They grabbed this bottom siege camp, and we're going to see another defense here. And you can see Mirrodin back here says, hey, I've got my own. It's going to push the top lane. We now have Zeratul getting a little bit of sight. We have Zagara moving forward, got her creep down so she can get in and out of danger. But it looks like, are they about to get trapped? There's 3 members. And now we see a huge attack there. Sonya goes down, got baited into it. Leoric is not going to survive. Leoric goes down, boom. Oh, we've got a stasis going here. Who's trapped? Because they are not going to live long. Sylvanas goes down, boom. Huge trap there. The red team split up at just the wrong moment, got blocked in there, and now is down 3 heroes. Unfortunately, that was a great play by 2-Arc as they start to make a push towards this fort. They know that Zeratul is staying back. They're trying to do a bit of damage on this fort. They have plenty to defend against, and so they're going to be able to get another tribute. It's not going to do much now, but it will do plenty down the road, as we have Sylvanas finally coming back up for L White. That siege camp was cleared pretty quickly, and we see Abathur up there hopping out of there, and they are making a huge push, is 2-Arc. And they're going to drop back, probably clear a few minions, and let's see if they try and grab one of these camp that's available. Because right now, they have the top camp pushing. They know that this camp on the bottom, or the top right, the Bruiser camp, are they going to come in? Are we going to see another Void Prison that is available? The red team, knowing that they have to retreat, they don't have the damage right now, knowing that they have to retreat, but this is another huge advantage for 2-Arc. And that's a stasis going in there. They're trying to defend against it. Can they hold them off? They are standing on it. Johanna will not leave. Tranquility going up. But we see the clone there get taken down. Huge heal coming up. Let's take a look at the damage. Mirrodin goes down for 2-Arc. Leoric goes down. L White, Rhaegar goes down. Sonya goes down. Huge. Can Sylvanas survive? Sylvanas manages to get out of there. Yes. But not before that Bruiser camp gets grabbed. Another great defense with 2-Arc to be able to take what L White wants and says, no, you're not having any of it. This is all mine. So Tuark grabs the camp. There's another tribute up, but hey, why grab it? Why rush things? Let's go ahead and take this front cannon, this front gate down in the middle lane. They're just making an absolute push here. Zeratul dropping back, grabbing that second tribute. If that third tribute comes up, that's going to spell nothing but danger. And let's take a look. We have a minute left on the bottom boss on the blue side, and just over a minute left on the red side. So we'll look for a contest for that here in the very near future, and we're going to see everybody drop back. Zeratul creeping along says, hey, I'm going to keep an eye on things down here. Maybe I'll make a poke, maybe I won't. And you can see the blue team on Tuark Gaming dropping back to grab a camp and says, hey, there's not a whole lot we can do right now, so let's do what we can. Have this camp push. By the time this camp gets up here, another tribute will be spawning. And we'll see if the red team on L White manages to clear out some of these minions, catch up on some of the experience, because they really have to make a push here. Tuark on their level 16s have grabbed Holy Renewal, Brood Expansion, Double Bombs, Stone Form, and Hardened Focus for Malfurion. So those are great choices there that are just playing right into everything that they've done so far. And we've got the red team that is just staying back. They can't do a whole lot. They know that they can't engage. So they're waiting on the sight from their minions. They can see. But now the boss is up. The tribute is up. This could be the game in terms of the huge turning point. If the red team is not able to grab this tribute, if they go out and they get wiped, this could be nothing but trouble because that boss is available. Sonya hopping in. Wailing arrow there, but the Void Prison is up. And we're going to see, are they going to be able to sustain? March of the Black King going in. Sonya trying to stay alive. Rhaegar trying to get out of there. Damage going everywhere. Sonya, that was the evolution. And we see Sonya go down, the real Sonya go down this time. Rhaegar having to drop back. Leoric says, hey, I'm trying to walk out of here. They're retreating, but Zeratul goes in. Huge there. Huge poke and retreat. Oh, Ancestral Healing not in time there for Rhaegar. Rhaegar goes down. 2 enemies down for L White. 2 allies down. So that leaves Tuark Gaming to grab the tribute. Will they push or will they grab the boss? It looks like they said, hey, we don't have much to worry about. They have 2 heroes down. We're going to get up there and we're going to make a push. Leoric getting up here. Leoric being targeted by Zeratul. Leoric not dropping back. Goes down. Bad positioning there, unfortunately, because he had no defense of the fort. Huge push here from Tuark Gaming. Making a push. Getting the bottom fort down, the middle fort down. Are they going to go for the core? Are they going to rotate? They're probably going to rotate here because they still have 30 seconds left on the curse. They're up 5-4, and they just need to make sure that the next few pushes are easy to grab. You can see that they are making the push here. Sonya having to drop back. If they manage to get a kill or 2 here, look for them to push for the core. The Ancestral Healing does come up there for Sonya. Will Sonya push too far? Sonya getting up there. Muradin trying to get out of danger. Muradin taking some huge hits. Muradin is now unstoppable. Sonya trying to heal, but Sonya probably out of position here. Sonya goes down. Boom. Zagara went down for Tuark in the meantime, but Sonya stretched her reach a little bit too far. And you can see that now it is 4-4, but no, Sylvanas goes down. Sylvanas not able to retreat appropriately, and we're going to see the blue team dropping back is Tuark Gaming. And let's see if they go for one of the bosses, because their boss is up, the top boss is up, the curse is over, and there are no forts left. And that just leaves it wide open for Tuark to go in, grab the boss, make a push. This will be very interesting. Will they grab the boss and push with the boss? Will they send the boss up there and then go grab the top boss and then push with that boss? One way or another, we could be seeing the beginning of the end. As they near level 20, they'll also be locked in on their level 20 talents and be able to make a huge push. There's not going to be a whole lot the red team can do. They're going to be too little too late if they are thinking of advancing and defending against this boss. It's just not going to work. And they grab it right before they get there. And will they get targeted? Because they're split. Sonya top, Rhaegar bottom, Leoric dropping back. We see Abathur Sonya hopping in there, trying to do a little bit. But it looks like they're trying to make the push. Will they go for the gusto and try and push back? Or are they going to have to drop back? Because right now, they can't mount up. They're stuck here. They're just going to have to run back and chase the boss. The boss is going to make a push straight for the core. And you're going to see Sylvanas there get stunned and taken down by Zeratul. Zeratul again doing absolute monster damage. Sonya goes down. Rhaegar about to go down. Boom! You see Leoric go down. Boom! And now you see nothing but Abathur left to defend. This is going to be GG. The boss is on there. Pajamather down there doing the worm. Having a little bit of fun with the Abathur. And you can see the boss is doing the work and the rest of the team coming back to finish it off. GG. 2Ark Gaming takes game number 1. Now again, this is a best of 3. So going into the next round, L White will have the map choice, the first pick, and the first ban. And that could be telling because they did get the first map choice on this one. Or I take that back. I think 2Ark got the first map choice. But going into game number 2, L White will have the opportunity to get their map choice, their first choice, and the first ban, which could very easily turn the tides. So, taking a look at the teams, on the blue side, we have Sunshine on Johanna, Crone on Zagara, LZ Gamer on Raynor, not able to get that Zeratul pick this game, Trader on Leoric, and Insomnia on Rhaegar. And for the red side, for L White, we have Oh My God Colin on ETC, Belarius on Jaina, Spurback on Kerrigan, Justin on Uther, and Spare Change on Vala. And we'll see here 2Ark making the push, all 5 members coming into this middle lane. And we're going to see Vala is going to split top, but the rest of the team coming in the middle. So we'll see who's going to hide in the bushes and who's going to try and get an early gank. And if not, who's going to clear out? We know that Raynor is going to benefit from this because he'll be able to get these stacks very early on if they clear these minions very quickly. And then if he moves over to say, hey, another lane grabs more Seasoned Marksman stacks, that's going to be key. Raynor being stunned there early. Raynor being grabbed by Kerrigan. But in the meantime, Kerrigan goes down. Huge plays from both teams. Very nicely done by Kerrigan. But seeing that the blue team had to swarm on Kerrigan as quickly as they could to try and take her down. Very nice plays by both teams. If L White can play like that to defend against Raynor, that is going to be what wins the game. While Leoric and Johanna are there and they're strong, and Rhaegar is going to have the hills, Zagar is going to play their role. But the wild card in this game is going to be Raynor because he's going to be the one that's going to be late game. And you see Kerrigan taking a lot of damage. Get in a heal there. Jaina maybe going down. No, Jaina staying alive. You can see nice stun there from Uther. But again, that auto attack from Raynor is going to be relevant throughout the entire game. And so that's going to be huge. Raynor is my X factor, where Kerrigan as the counter is my X factor for L White. Those are going to be huge, huge choices and huge playstyle choices for these two teams. That's just an incredible, incredible counter there. It is Kerrigan there to Raynor to be able to hop in and then grab him and pull him in to where he wants to stay back and stay out and just poke away. That might not be the case. And we're going to have Zagara up here. Is going to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to grab my experience, put my creep down, get it down again. Although that one went down quickly. Oh, there it is. There's the Monster Hunter, because that's... Vala goes down. Very nicely done. That Monster Hunter coming in there, which is a terror for Vala, especially when she's by herself. Has nothing to do but retreat, because that's going to do a ton of damage. And so you can see the blue team now has both, and it looks like LZ Gamer on Raynor says, hey, I'm here, I'm going to take this. And a very early grab. Normally that first grab takes a little while, but that great defense up there by Zagara allows for them to grab this early Dragonite. And you can see the Dragonite absolutely destroying this middle cannon. And you can see, hey, just like I said, it's not going to do the most damage, but it does allow the other teams to do a bit of split pushing there. You can see 3 members of 2Ark pushing the bottom lane, while that dragon continues to stay up there and says, hey, I'll take a bit of damage. Zagara up here contending against Vala, but this bottom lane is where most of the damage is being done. Ignore that Dragon Knight. That Dragon Knight says, hey, I'm going to stay alive. I'm going to do what I got to do. And then we're going to push. So there you have it. The bottom gate is down. The bottom cannons are down. And the red team is rotating down to defend. But too little too late. And there goes the Dragon Knight with just a second left is now gone. And this top lane is completely out of ammo. Huge push very early on by 2Ark. And we're going to see they are already at level 7. And you're going to see Revolution Overdrive for Raynor. Battle Momentum for Johanna. Battle Momentum for Zagara. Ghastly Reach for Leoric and Earthshield, but we're going to have a contest here. Let's get this out of the way and see what's going on. ETC having to drop back. Kerrigan grabbing Leoric, trying to finish off Leoric. Leoric does manage to stay alive as he takes down Uther with one big swing and not able to take out Leoric there. Huge, huge hit And Vala having to drop back. We can see her health going down quite a bit. Again, that contest against Zagara is a tough task for Vala. And we see that Kerrigan hopping in there, but not able to do the damage that she would like to do. Having to hurt back now is Kerrigan, and it looks like we're going to have Uther coming in trying to defend against that minion wave. But in the meantime, we've got Jaina down here defending against Johanna, and we now have ETC coming in to defend, trying to knock that back. That Johanna having to fall back, not necessarily doing exactly the right positioning, but enough to push them back. Such a huge push very early by 2ARC. And now trying to turn the tides is L White by grabbing their siege camp. While on the opposite side, we have Leoric and Rhaegar doing the exact same thing. This is the time in the game in between the dragon shrines that we're going to have both teams grabbing their camps, while Zagara continues to say, hey, what are you going to do about it, Vala? I'm going to continue to push. So Crone up there just bullying Vala. I'm surprised they haven't made the change there, but what are they going to do at this point? Zagara is just a tough one with all of that creep up there. That monster hunter that continues to target Vala is just so hard to compete with. And now you have all the minions coming up. They're now up here. Vala trying to do what she can, but unable to. And now you see the bottom camp grabbed by 2ARC and now making the push here. Making way for the siege camp and the bruiser camp is 2ARC, and they are now quickly approaching level 10. If they can get this fort down before the shrines get contested, this is going to make for a devastating push for L White to defend against, because if this goes down and they hit 10, they're now going to be locked into their heroics, which they are up 10-8, and they're going to make a huge push. Here comes Hyperion, which can do a significant amount of structure damage, as well as the rest of everything going on here between the siege minions and the bruiser camp, which is just absolutely tearing stuff apart. Vala continuing to try and just stay up top when Vala probably needs to come back to defend, because this is such a huge push. I know that Vala is defending against that top shrine, but it's not going to do much when the rest of your forts go down. Already at level 11, this bottom fort is going down. The siege minions are in there, trying to get in there. Rhaegar having to get out of there, but Rhaegar getting stunned. Can they take down Rhaegar? Rhaegar with the ancestral healing, now turning it on ETC. ETC gets taken down. Uther trying to get out of there, manages to get out. Will Jaina and Kerrigan survive? Yes, they do, as they drop back. But again, not enough firepower. And you can see Vala says, hey, I'm going to drop middle, and I'm going to try and contest, because here they come for that Dragon Knight. Zagara is now on Vala and says, hey, I see you. You're not getting anywhere. Another Dragon Knight grabbed. But hey, Zagara now being targeted. Just not enough damage with the level difference here. They use the Devouring Maul. But again, this Dragon Knight not necessarily, looking to push the top part, but it is a great support. It acts as a tank. It does a decent amount of structure damage. And will it allow for them to make a strong push here in the middle? This is what is going to be what they have to defend against until they get to level 10. And they still aren't even close at level 9 and not enough around to kill. Having this to be able to push while the rest of your team falls behind you, are they going to make the push straight for the core? Will they make this push? They have 20 seconds left on the Dragon Knight. Let's see if they're going to make the push. Are they going to try and finish this early? Here comes the Hyperion. Vala taking a ton of damage. ETC knocking them back. But is this an opportunity for them to make the push and just say, hey, we're going to finish this off? The core already going down. Not enough firepower. No heroics up. 40%. Huge push here. Unbelievable. Is 2ARC finishing this 7.5 minutes into the game, and it's GG. The game is over. 2ARC Gaming takes the game in spectacular fashion. A 7.5 minute game, grabbing that Dragon Knight, said, hey, forget that middle lane. We're going bottom. They don't have the heroic. Let's throw up a Hyperion. Let's push this. And 2ARC Gaming has been crowned the champions of the Pandorum Gaming Open number 2. An incredible push there from 2ARC. Very well played on the Dragonshire. That top kill created a snowball effect. If you remember that when Vala went down early, that allowed for the first Dragon Knight, and everything fell apart from there, unfortunately for L White, as they made an extremely strong push. There's Raynor, as mentioned before, being able to do that damage, leading by far that hero damage, and great damage there from Johanna. Just a very well-played game from 2ARC. Extremely well put together. One of the quickest matches I have ever seen. A 7.5 minute match there between 2ARC and L
White. We're going to get their name right one day.